Hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. Oh, that beeping's a battery. Got the F-16 from the latest F-16 from FMS. It's actually not a version 3, 2, or 1. This is an original mold. I got the Battleship Gray one, and 64mm runs on a 4S, anywhere from a 22 up to a 2600, maybe even a 2800 4S. And I'm gonna get out of the box and show you what's in the box. We're going to change my unboxing build a little bit. I'm going to take it out of the box, show you how it's packed, then we'll pause. I'm going to take everything out of the individual baggies and then show you the pieces piece by piece instead of you watching me take everything out of each individual little baggie and stuff. And with all FMS and E-Flight and Aero's products playing, the thing is packed. You know, you can drop it off the side of a truck and ain't nothing going to happen to it. Everything's very, very, very nice. Give you a little bit of specs on the plane. It has a 712 or 28-inch wingspan. It's 42.9 inches long. Has a 2840 kV motor with a 3150. 40 amp ESC, requires a 6-channel receiver. Center of gravity is 75 to 85 from the leading edge, and that's going to be the leading edge root where the wing touches the fuselage, not the leading edge of the wing. 64mm 12-bladed fan, runs on a 2200 up to a 2600 4S. And interesting enough, the Battleship Gray, the gray one has slightly different dimensions. The wingspan is slightly wider than the Thunderbird one, I guess because of the accounting for the missile that you'd have on. Other than that, the spec's the same. It does have thrust reverse, and it has a working rudder and suspension in the nose gear suspension. And like I said, everything is packed. I personally, if you get the Thunderbird, you get the Thunderbird, okay? You don't get missiles and you don't get water slide decals. But if you get the gray one, you get water slide decals, 4 sets to customize how you want it, and the whole gamut of missiles. So, to me, the gray one's the better choice unless you just really want the Thunderbird. So, let me take everything out of the box and we'll show you the individual parts. Be right back. Don't go nowhere. Alright, we got everything out of the box. First off, you get a very nice detailed manual, but was not folded. Okay. You get the nose cone that already has some decals applied, and the little details are already, the antennas and everything are already installed on there. Now that just pops on the end of the fuselage. It's not magnetic, it actually clips on, similar to the 80mm integral. In the fuselage, just like in their F-86, or 80mm F-86, here's a feature, a nice scale looking push button to take the canopy off. Your pilot has a detailed cockpit display, along with a good looking pilot in there. You get plenty of room. I'm going to do a lot like my Aviator did, and I'm going to build me a little wooden shelf right here to put it level, because like him, I'm going to use an AR-630 antennaless receiver. This does not have the reflex system, so it does not have a gyro. That's why for a small plane like this, I like to have a gyro to help it in the wind. So I'm going to use an AR-630. This is a perfect receiver for this application, because not only has it got great signal, it also has a built-in gyro, and it has self-leveling and safe selection if you want to use that. I'm just going to be using the AS3X or wind gyro to help with the wind, because it is a light little plane. But I'm going to put that on a shelf right there. Now, if you have a non-gyroed receiver, then you can put it in there and you won't have to have a shelf. And you need a 5th channel to operate the thrust reversing. So other than that, it's a regular 4-channel plane. Plenty of room. So you put your receiver here, you've got all kinds of room for your battery of choice. I'll be using 2600s and 2800s SMC packs. a 2600 regular HRB and a 2800 SMC, which is the same weight and dimensions as the 2600. That way it's comparable, and I can see which one flies better, how much better it performs. One thing I noticed right off the bat is when you look at the foam, it looks like metal. Okay, you got a light up there. It looks like metal. You are very hard pressed to see the individual cells in the foam. This is a painted, and they got like maybe a couple of layers of paint on this. This is very nice looking. Wing, already got the details. Some of the decals already on here. Linkages are already hooked up on the rudder and the ailerons, and also on the elevator, both halves of the elevator. Now you will have to be gluing in your horizontal and vertical stabilizers, your rudder and your elevators. So you're going to want to scar this foam up. Take like a knife here, and you're going to want to score it up. Everywhere where the foam touches itself, where it glues into, you're going to score that and glue that in. Again, your elevator is already hooked up, and this is a nice quality pinch hinge, and it does have, looks like got a little bit of laminate down in there. Yes, it looks like it's got a little bit of laminate. Well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I can't really tell. It does look a little bit shiny, so maybe it does. But yeah. And make sure, I'm not going to be doing a build video on this because it's actually very, very, very simple. But before you glue in your rudder and your ailerons, okay, because once you glue them in, you're committed. All right, get you a servo tester like I've got this one here. This one has a battery backup, otherwise you'd give a power source to one. And I'm going to show you. You want to go ahead and test your. You want to test your servos. I'm just going to show you just to make sure, because once I glue this servo in, that's it. Okay. Once I glue this control servos in, that's it. Okay. And there, get it centered, and I know it's working. Okay. So I'll do that for everything really before I attach it. Another nice thing, these missiles that go on the underside, they already have all the details. Look at all the decals already on there, so you don't have to do any of that. The bottom dorsal fins, or the pectoral fins underneath the plane, ventral fins or whatever they are, they just slide in like the missiles do. Go ahead and show you where they go. They're actually going to go. Well, you got nice access to your motor here. They're just going to slide in just like that. See how that keys in right there. And the tips of these, this right, because I know your model's going to rock down on the ground. This is hard plastic. Foam here, but this is hard plastic capped here. So when it rocks back, it's on that hard plastic, not on the foam back there. Yeah, this is very nice. Locking, when your signal for your rudder and the little light wire here, locking servo leads, so that's nice. You also get a relatively short wing spar, and it's great. And even these great big tanks. Look at the detail in these tanks. Very, very nice. This is a very well done model. Also get your landing gear. Now the front gear is suspension. Does have a little bit of suspension to it. And then you get this very detailed main. It doesn't have retracts. Okay, and then you get your little bag of goodies. And it looks like a 2mm hex drive. We'll put all the main screws in, and then there is a grub screw in here that you'll need to back out, attach, and then screw back in. You're going to be going metal to metal. If you want to put a little drop of CA on that when you anchor that down. Now you may need to there's a flap spot on the front of this tiller here, where my finger is at. There's a flat spot. That's what you're going to be putting that rub screw down to. You may need to turn your rudder just a little bit in here in order to get that flat spot to show. So just to let you know. Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much the unboxing of it. The going to be a very simple plane to put together. Okay. I'm not going to do a build video per se, but very simple plane. Just remember to score that foam before you glue everything back on, and that's pretty much it. All right, we'll come back and we'll install the receiver, and we'll go over the radio setup. Be the next video. All right, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless y'all. Oh well, you know what? I'll pause here, put the plane together, and then we'll do the radio stuff together. How about that? All right, we'll see you later. Bye. Well, hello, Fat Guy Flies RC. All right, this is the complete radio. We're going to do the radio setup together and the post build. Okay, now on the new FMS F-16. Now I have not put the decals. You get 4 different liveries that you can pick from for the F-16, and I just haven't decided. They're water slides. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5 different choices. So I don't know which one I'm going to do yet, so I'm going to leave that off for right now. They're water slides, so you cut that section out, cut off each one, slightly wet the part of the model you put them on, and then put the piece in the. If you ever done water slide decals, then put the piece in the water, let it curl up, and then slide it on. Now, as you can see, okay, back to the model though. As you can see, she's on my Hobby King balance machine. Now, this balance machine you get from Hobby King. It's usually $14.95. You just have to keep checking the website. Sometimes they have it for sale, sometimes they don't. And I'll put a link in the video, but it's almost always out of stock because they're so handy, and they're only $14.95. And they're adjustable in and out. Well, anyways, so that's enough about that. The CG is 75 to 85 millimeters back from the leading edge. Now, that's not the leading edge of the wing, but where the leading edge root. And it doesn't tell you that in the manual, it just tells you from the leading edge, but that's actually the root where the wing touches. So that's 75 back, 75 to 85 back, and I use my caliper tool, which is this thing here. And you just put, 75, 85, and make in your little marks like you do. And that's how I got the CG. I've got a 2600 HRB 4S in there, and I've got those, her pivoting on right between the 75 and the 85 balance points for the CG. So you can see she balances just perfectly. Now that's with all the ordnance on and the cap on, the battery in. So you say, well, that's fine and dandy. Where does that put your battery? Now I can take this off of here, and I'll show you where the battery goes. For that CG in perfectly with a 2600, okay, this is where I have it. That's where it CG's perfectly. So basically, about maybe ½ an inch back on the front of that wood tray. So what I'm going to do, real quick, is just for my own reference point at the field, I'm going to put a line on the front there, and I'm going to write 2600 there, and that front line, see. And then I know that black line, that 2600 or bit goes further back. If I got a 2200, I'm going to come a little further forward. They actually be on the 2600, okay? So there you go. So that's how I do my CG. Just like an RC aviator, I put a little wooden shelf in there made out of wide popsicle sticks. Hot glued that in. I got an AR-630 mount there bound up, and she's ready to go. Now I just have the basic model profile. I don't have safe or telemetry or any of that stuff's hooked up yet. So we're going to do all that together. I'm going to show you how to program safe and how to figure your AS3X, and how to assign all that to a switch, and how to turn AS3X off. Okay, so the first thing let's do, you're going to go ahead and create your model, create your profile, pick your, this is not your first plane, so you should already know how to do this. Already have your throttle cut set, which for me, I have mine set to my age, so throttle's on now. Okay, now throttle's off. Okay, so throttle's off. I've already gone through and made sure that all my directions are going the right way. So if I've got, and this is paramountly important for setting up forward programming, is you must make sure that all of your control surfaces are going correctly before you start forward programming. Right aileron is correct, left aileron is correct. Up elevator, down elevator, right rudder, left rudder. Everything is 100% right now. Okay? So let's go ahead and start our forward programming. No, it doesn't know anything about forward programming. So now you got your NX10, I got the AR630. Both of these are compatible with forward programming. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. We know our model is correct. Okay? So we're going to go to forward programming. Okay? I'm going to hit gyro settings. First time setup. Make sure that you got the right everything. We've already done that. Okay. Okay. Set the model level. Let me make sure I'm sitting at level. I'm not sitting on any screws or anything like that. And it is. Okay. Then you're going to hit continue. Okay. Now I was going to say set the model on its nose. Well, obviously you won't be able to see me on the monitor do that. I'm going to take the nose cone off, take the model, set it on its nose, and just like we're setting it level and hitting continue, I'm now going to hit continue here. Okay. Put my nose back on. Okay, and it's telling me that it now knows the orientation of the receiver. Hit continue. Okay, gain channel select. This is where I want to select my gain channel. I want to use this knob up here to control my AS3X gains. So I'm going to see where it's highlighted inhibit. I'm going to go ahead and select auxiliary 3. I like auxiliary 3. And it automatically picks that knob. Next. And I'm going to hit apply. Okay, now the model's going to go through its little dance. Okay. Go back to forward programming again. Gyro settings again. Now you're going to go to first time safe setup. Okay. Pick your FM channel or your flight mode channel. Okay. I don't want that inhibited. I like putting all my stuff on aux 2 on my B channel, which is right up here. That's just where I like it. You put it where you want it. Okay, and you're going to hit continue again. Okay, now looky here. It says flight mode 1, and on my switch, I'm in the first position, furthest away. Watch what happens in the screen when I pull back. Flight mode 2, flight mode 3. So now I know that this switch is working. I'll leave it in flight mode 1 for now. Hit next. Okay, hit next again. All right, now is that model? Nothing's sitting. You gotta make sure the perfect, because now the model, the receiver is ready to remember what is perfectly level for safe. So, watch there. Hit that. Okay. Now the roll, the ailerons are fine, but the pitch is a little bit positive. That's okay. I can deal with that. If that was like 10 or 11, then I would reposition the model or something. But I'm going to leave that alone. Okay. All right. Now that's the limitations on safe. Leave that alone. Don't mess with those numbers. Then you're going to hit apply. Okay. See, now you had the double dance that time. That tells you that safe is working. Go back to forward programming again. Okay, gyro settings again. Go to your flight mode this time. Remember, we're still in flight mode 1, right? So flight mode 1 is where I want AS3 active, and then you notice that safe is inhibited here. I'm coming down here, and I'm going to bring it over to self-leveling. Okay, get back out, go back to flight mode again. Okay, I'm going to now take my switch, middle position, and look, flight mode 2. Okay, AS3 is active, but safe is still inhibited. And then now I'm going to take the switch and go to my last position, flight mode 3, and this is where I'm going to inhibit AS3X. Okay? All the way out. So now, I know that if I go to flight mode 1, which is all the way down, that would be safe. Okay, that should be self-leveling. Well, let's test that. Okay. So what would happen if it goes self-level? The control surfaces should move in such a way that it wants to self-level the plane. So, watch the ailerons. You see, the ailerons are starting to move to self-right the plane. Look at the elevator. Elevator is starting to pitch up. So look at the side level. See how it goes. Now the elevator is starting to pitch down. Turn it up. Now it's trying to self-level. Okay? So now I know that's working correctly. Okay? It wasn't very distinct, but it is there. Hear it? Okay. Now, I'm going to put in AS3X. And so I should hear gyros, right? Wait a minute. I don't hear any gyros. I'm in flight mode 2. I don't hear the gyros working. Are they working in safe? Hear them? But when I go to flight mode 2, AS3X, they're not working. I wonder why. What's the thing about AS3X? It will not engage until you bump that throttle up to 25% or more. I think 20 or 25%. Okay? Now the throttle's working. Still in flight mode 2. But you're saying, well, they're still not working. They're supposed to work. Remember, I assigned my gains to that knob. I have that knob turned all the way down. I'm going to turn it all the way up now. Now listen. Now they're working. Okay. Now they're really working. So the advantage of having that on the knob is if you're flying along and you're just in your AS3X mode, and when you really pick up speed, the plane really starts to oscillate. Okay? Well, then you can turn those gains down, because that means the plane, as it's going fast, is kind of overcorrecting and then it's kind of bouncing off itself. Okay? Or if you're flying along and you just get knocked all over, you'll think, well, my AS3X ain't helping that thing fly straight at all, then turn your gains back up. Okay, it just depends on the situation, the day, the wind, the speed that you're flying, and then you just keep turning that knob and find that perfect gain level of reaction versus input to where she's flying the way you want her to. The nice thing about it, because you go on that knob, you can do that in flight. If she's oscillating, turn the gains down a little bit. If she's getting really rocked around by the wind, turn the gains back up just a touch. So the name of the game is don't fly on a windy day, because you're not going to be able to tell. But anytime you made in a plane, okay, you're going to try to pick a day as calm as possible. So that's the gains. That's the gains channel. Now, for the throws on this plane, for the actual, oh yes, another thing is if I go to flight mode 3, remember the gains? Flight mode 3, I inhibited. I don't know if I showed you that or not. Let me just make sure I showed you that. But in flight mode 3, okay, hold on, gyro settings. See, flight mode 3, AS3X, Now if I activate that in flight mode 3, it's working. But if I keep it inhibited, okay, now they don't work. So flight mode 1 is self-leveling. Flight mode 2 is AS3X, just wind gyro. And flight mode 3 is no help at all, just normal cruising. So that's how you set up Safe Select AS3X and how you adjust the gains. Now, if people say, well, what are your gain settings? Well, by putting that on that adjustable knob, you can change your gain settings based upon your flying experience each day. The wind may be different. You may be flying a hotter battery. Might be flying a little faster than you normally do or slower. That's why I like putting it on a knob, and I can adjust in flight as I'm going. All right, let's talk about the normal flying, the normal throws and expo. Okay, what do they recommend? All right, well, as usual, they give you a high rate and a low rate. They give it to you in millimeters. So I can't tell you what that is because I don't do that gauge. I don't like doing that gauge thing. I just, usually 100% is pretty close to their high, and then 70% throws is close to their low. I'm sorry, I just can't really, I don't have that in my head of how to do millimeters to percentages. Spectrum is percentages. Some of these manuals will give you a lot of, like the free wings, some of the FMS manuals will give it to you in percentage also, so you can easily put it into spectrum. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 rates. I'm going to do 100% throws with 30% expo. I'm going to do 80% throws or 85% throws with 30% expo, and then 70% throws with 30% expo. And let me show you how to program that and how to pick a switch and how that looks, how that physically looks on the plane. Okay, you can see all the control surfaces, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, good. We are. I was thinking, I did all that. Did I ever hit record? Okay. So I'll get out of here. All right. Let's go ahead. Pick rates and expo. First thing you want to do is click your switch. Now I like using my G switch. Okay, so I'm going to pick my G switch. And with my switch, to me, that's the lowest position, the furthest away. That's going to be my low rate, okay, or position 0, okay. I'm going to take that, bump that down to 70%. My roller is very sensitive. And then I'm going to take this to 30%. Okay, that's my expo. Now, pull it to the middle position, go back up, take that down to 85, down, not up, to 85, put my expo at 30. If I can, oh, my switch is so sensitive. If I don't hit it just perfectly, see, it'll jump. I need to get this radio serviced. And then I'm going to take this switch and go to high rate, which I'm going to leave it at 100% throws, but I'm still going to put my expo in. All right, so let's look at the ailerons now. We're in high rate right now. Look at those ailerons. That's 100% throws. Okay. There's 85%. And there's low. It's not really all that much difference. 100% high, 70% low. Just a little bit difference. Okay. So now, you're going to say, well, that's great for the aileron. Take ourselves to the elevator next. Elevator. Go to your switch. I like using my G. I'm in my low rate. Okay. Take that down to 70. Expo up to 30. Go to my middle position. Take that down to 85. Put my expo at 30. Then my high position will be 100 with 30% expo. Now, for the rudder, we'll talk about elevator in just a second. But I'll go ahead and switch to rudder real quick. Okay, with rudder, I just leave it at 100%, don't assign it to a switch, and I give myself 30% expo. Okay, so rudder 100%. Okay, now here's high rate 100% on elevator with 30% expo. Okay, here's middle 85, and here's low. More than likely for the first flight, I'll probably fly around in a mid rate just to see. But knowing me, I'll probably end up in the high rate. I'm so used to full rates, and you know, the smaller the corrections you do with your finger, the better. Okay. We've talked about, I'll set my timer. My surf time will be for 3.5 minutes. We have talked about how to set up your throws. We've talked about how to figure out your CG. We've talked about how to do forward programming with a safe enabled receiver. And we've talked about CG. The plane, I did not have to do any trim. The plane is what I call bench trim. In other words, when I put the plane together, hooked everything up, all the control surfaces were nice and level with the corresponding structures. This is even with this one, this is even with that one. This is perfectly straight. I've already taken her outside. You do have to do, I did a range test, you do have to do one thing to get her to steer correctly. With that front wheel perfectly straight with you, okay, you'll have to go in there, lift the steering arm, undo that screw there, lift the steering arm, and pull the arm over one tooth over to where when you're sitting straight, you can see how the steering arm is off to one side. That's how it steers perfectly straight. It's got to be off just one tooth over. So if it looks like that, when you're all done, you got it right. Okay. It'll be clear to you whenever you go and put it up. When you go to do it, it'll make sense to you. All right, we're doing the next time you see the plane, I'll be doing the maiden. Okay, let's go over everything real quick. Oh yes, and the missiles go on in this order. The white tipped ones go on the furthest outside. Next in are the black tips. Next in are the full white missiles, and then the two big middle tanks, and then are the two drop tanks, and then of course the big center tank goes in the very, very middle. Okay, you have lights here, 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 on either side, and I don't know if there's lights on the bottom, and lights on the bottom of the wings also. So when the plane is going over, you'll be able to see it also. This is going to be a FMS makes a good product anyways, but I'm thinking this is going to be a great flying plane. So, all right, folks, well, there you go. Just to let you know, I use Gorilla brand hot glue to install my tail feathers. Now, you can do that if you want to. I like using hot glue because it has the same Gorilla brand hot glue. Don't get the cheap craft stuff. Get Gorilla brand, and you won't have any problem. It will hold a piece of foam together. Actually, the foam will rip apart before the Gorilla Glue seam will let go. Okay, so, and if you ever have to undo a Gorilla Glue part, all you have to do is pour some rubbing alcohol on it. You pour rubbing alcohol, just dab it on there with a cotton swab, and kind of like you think, and that what that does is it causes the molecules of the hot glue to pull away from the foam, and you can pull it, and then you can just peel that. It just makes the Gorilla Glue null and void. So pour a little rubbing alcohol on, and you can take that right off. Just don't do cleanup with it, because then you might get in a seam and then you ruin your seam. So, all right, well there you go, folks. And that's I got suspension in the front. I'll be doing the maiden with first maiden with the gear with all the ordnance on, and then I'll fly it with the ordnance off, and we'll see just how she does. I do remember something I forgot to show you. In your airplane, I've got the battery out of it now, but that little yellow pigtail that comes off the throttle, okay, I put that into my gear. That's the reverse thrust. I put that into my gear channel, which is my A switch, okay. I don't like my A switch being thrust reverse, so I assigned my gear channel to my C switch. This is where I put all my reverse thrust functions in. Did that in channel assign your gear to whatever channel you want to use, or leave it in gear and it's on off, 2-position switch. That's entirely up to you. But I like using this one, so I switch it to C. And so when I'm in this position, in other words up, that's normal cruising. Then I pull down, I'm braking. So I forgot to tell you that. But so that little yellow switch, on a 6-position or a 6-channel receiver, you can either use your flap channel or you can use your gear channel, whichever one you want. Plug it in there and then assign it to whatever switch you want, and then you'll have thrust reverse. So there you go. I forgot to add that, so sorry. All right, folks. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff I'm leaving out, but that's what I normally cover with radio setups. There you go. This is not a sponsored plane. This thing's $199, and it cost me $199, just like it cost you. So, but I'm hoping I think I'm going to have a good experience here. All right, y'all have a good, and God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and Jets.